There is a famous interview with Kobe Bryant that I keep coming back to. His team is winning in the playoffs, they are ahead. A reporter leans in and asks him, "Aren't you excited? Don't you feel good about where things are heading?" Kobe's answer was one word: "Nope." The reporter pushed. "You're winning. You're in the playoffs." And Kobe looked at him and said, "Do I have a championship?" "No." "Then it is not done. I am not excited. It is not done until we win it all." I think about that every single time I sit across from an entrepreneur who is celebrating the wrong things. Before we get into it, I want to be transparent with you about something, and this is intentional. What you are watching right now is an AI generated avatar. I am here on behalf of Juwan Buford Sr. so that he can be in the field, actively inspiring, engaging, and chaperoning entrepreneurs through the process of launching, growing, and scaling their businesses. At JSB Business Solutions Group, we are dedicated to being at the forefront of technology and to helping the entrepreneurs we serve do the same. So, yes, this is the avatar, the content, the frameworks, the stories, the conviction behind every word you are about to hear that is 100% Juwan. Now, let's get into it. Investing in the wrong things and afraid of the wrong things. Because here's the truth that most people in the entrepreneurial space are not saying loudly enough. The number one thing killing small businesses right now is not the economy, it is not the competition, it is not the lack of resources or the lack of opportunity. It is a deep identity level aversion to selling, and it is costing people everything. Now, let's get into it. I want to start with something I see constantly, and I mean constantly. An entrepreneur walks into a conversation with me. They have a beautifully designed logo, a professional website, a full social media rebrand, maybe even a commercial shoot. They have invested thousands of dollars into their image and their brand, and they have not made enough phone calls to fill a room. Here is what nobody wants to say out loud. You do not need a new logo, you need paying customers. Before you spend a single dollar on a website, a brand refresh, a marketing campaign, you need to know whether the market you are targeting actually wants what you are selling at the price you need to charge and the volume you need to move. And that only comes from one place: direct contact with real prospects, not a survey, not a social media poll, not your cousin telling you it is a great idea. Actual human beings who either say yes and pull out a wallet or say no and give you a reason. This is called a beta test, and most entrepreneurs skip it entirely. You know why they skip it? Because it requires putting your idea in front of a real person and asking them to respond to it. Because rejection is possible. Because the feedback might sting. So instead, they invest in the brand, they build the site, they polish the packaging, they get the canopy and the table cover and the matching bags. And 6 months later, they are sitting on inventory that nobody told them they wanted, or they are offering a service that nobody has validated, and they are wondering why the customers are not showing up. I want you to hear this clearly. The brand does not create demand, the conversations create demand. The follow ups create demand. The invitations create demand. The sales create demand. The brand amplifies demand that already exists. Your job is to create the demand first. The brand comes after. I sat with an entrepreneur not too long ago who moved 50 units at a single pop up event, made the semifinal of a major pitch competition out of 600 applicants, and landed a catering contract for 200 to 300 people. All of that happened back to back. None of it came from a rebrand. None of it came from a new logo or a new website. It came from her finally deciding to show up in the room and make offers. Her first move was not to rebrand. Her first move was to pick up the phone and go. So I want you to sit with this question and be honest with yourself. How much do you actually know about whether your market wants what you are selling? Not how much you believe in it, not how much your family and friends say it is amazing. How many strangers have said yes with their money? That data is the foundation. Everything else is decoration. Now, once you accept that you need to sell before you invest in branding, you run into the second problem. And this one is more personal. Most entrepreneurs do not want to be seen as pushy. They do not want to be salesy. They do not want to bother people. They do not want to be annoying. And I get it. I understand where that comes from. Nobody wants to feel like they are that person. But here's what I need you to understand: that instinct, as understandable as it is, will break your business faster than any competitor, any economic downturn, or any operational challenge ever could. I have been working alongside entrepreneurs, investment advisors, and business owners across every industry for over 2 decades, and I can tell you this with complete certainty. You will never meet an entrepreneur who is extremely successful financially, who is not extremely passionate and extremely persistent about promoting what they do. Not one. They exist on a completely different frequency than the people who are sitting around waiting to be discovered. The most successful entrepreneurs develop what I call alligator skin. They understand something that the average person does not. Caring too much about the opinions of people who have not built anything is a slow form of self-destruction. Think about who is in your head when you decide not to follow up again. Think about who you are listening to when you talk yourself out of sending that email. In most cases, it is not a successful entrepreneur. It is not someone who has built a seven-figure business. It is not someone who has created anything at scale. It is someone who has never had to build anything at all, and you are letting their comfort level determine your ceiling. That is not humility. That is self-sabotage with good manners. I need you to stop adopting the behaviors and attitudes of people who are not on the trajectory you want for yourself. If you adopt the mindset of someone earning 50,000 a year, guess what you are going to earn? Find the people in your industry who are earning what you want to earn. Watch how they behave. I promise you, they do not behave like everybody else, because if you behave like everybody else, you will get what everybody else gets. Let me tell you what being professionally persistent actually looks like in real life. A gentleman called me on a Sunday not too long ago. He owns a beautiful property here in Metro Detroit. And he called me up and he said, Juwan, you have been on me for 4 or 5 years. And then he laughed a little because he knew what he was about to say next. He said, because of your professionalism and your persistence, I decided to choose you to find an investor for my home. 4 to 5 years, phone calls, emails, check-ins, consistent, professional, purposeful follow-up. Some people would look at that and say I was being salesy, being annoying, being pushy. That 4 to 5 years of follow-up is going to result in a six-figure payday. So let me ask you something honestly. Would you rather be liked or would you rather be winning? Because here is what professional persistence actually is when you strip away all the fear around it. It is making sure that when your prospect is finally ready to make a buying decision, they think of you first. That is it. It is not about forcing anyone to do anything. It is not about pressuring people. It is about being present enough in someone's life that when the moment arrives, your name is the one that surfaces. Think about real estate agents for a second. They hand out pens, calendars, refrigerator magnets, postcards. They know that 90% of the people holding those items are not ready to buy a house today. They hand them out anyway, because when that person is ready, they want to be the name on the wall, the face on the postcard, the voice that comes to mind first. That is the game, and you have to be willing to play it. Yow. Now, cadence matters. I'm not telling you to be tone deaf about where someone is in their life or business. Be empathetic about your timing and your approach, but never, ever be afraid to show up repeatedly, professionally, and with a genuine spirit to solve a problem and to serve. Because here's the thing, if you actually believe your product or service makes someone's life better, then walking away after one no is not respecting their comfort. It is abandoning them to a problem you could have solved. There is a real difference between a vendor who keeps calling to make their number and a trusted advisor who keeps showing up because they believe in what they offer. The difference is not the frequency. The difference is the intention. Show up as the latter. And persistence stops being a problem. It becomes a gift. So let me give you the actionable truth underneath everything I just shared. This is the system. It is simple. It is not easy, but it is simple. Invite and secure the commitment of 5 people per day to learn about your business every day, 5 days a week. And yes, some people will lie, some will break their commitment, some will say yes on Monday and ghost you by Wednesday. Do it anyway. That is the system. Now, I want you to understand what it actually takes to get there because people hear 5 people and they think that sounds manageable, and it is. But you have to do the math on the front end. It may require you to DM 100 people on social media to land 5 who genuinely commit. It may mean speaking with 15 to 30 people in a single day before you hit your number. It may mean attending multiple networking events in a week. The work behind the 5 is real, and it is not always clean. It does not matter how you do it. It can be a phone call, a DM belly to belly at a networking event, an email to someone in your warm market asking them who they know that might benefit from what you offer. The channel is not the point. The consistency is the point. Now, the purpose of this is not to close everybody. If your product or service is good enough, then some percentage of the people who actually learn about it will buy it. Sales will come. The real reason you are doing this is so that when someone in your world is ready to buy what you sell, you are the first name that comes to mind. So you want to be so present, so consistent, so professional in your outreach that you become the obvious answer. You want to be that brand where people do not remember anybody else, where your name and your category are the same thing in someone's mind, where they do not ask who to call. They already know. That only happens through volume and consistency, not one great conversation. Not a viral post, not a beautiful website, repeated intentional contact with the real market you are trying to serve. And one more thing, stop chasing the wrong rooms. There are organizations in your city, in your metro area, that are paying 5 figures and beyond to vendors who can serve their people well. They exist right now. They are hosting events right now. They are posting those events on Instagram and LinkedIn because they want the world to see what they are building. Find them, reach out to them, tell them what you do and how you can make their experience more memorable. And then follow up, and follow up again, and follow up after that. The ones who win are the ones who are willing to do what everyone else is too comfortable to do. I want to close where I opened with Kobe in that press conference. The milestone is not the victory. Whatever moment you had recently, the successful event, the new client, the competition placement, the post that got traction, is evidence that you are on the right track. Pat yourself on the back, celebrate it for a minute, and then get back to work. Because there is a version of you that builds something that outlasts you, something your children and their children benefit from long after you are gone, something that bears your name and your standard for generations. That version of you does not get comfortable at the milestone. That version of you does not let the opinions of people who are not building anything slow down the invitations you are sending. That version of you picks up the phone. The championship is not yours yet. Act like it. If this landed for you, share it with an entrepreneur in your circle who needs to hear it. Subscribe to the Grow Givers Project on Substack. Come find us on School. Let's build taller buildings together.